What's the deal? Yeah, what's the deal? What's the deal? How you feel? What's the deal? Where you at?
So y'all here? Y'all like inspiration? Y'all like motivation?
Denise Camille?
Y'all like ventilation?
Denise Camille?
Y'all know I gotta make up a few words here and there, but who y'all here with?
Ventilation and Denise Camille.
Under the act. But we not playing no games.
We're not into games. We don't like Sega, PlayStation, or Xbox.
So y'all here with Dilate the Dialogue with Denise Camille.
Dilate the dialogue.
We gotta open up, not them legs, but the mind.
Denise Camille.
Because I know y'all trying to find y'all strength.
Denise Camille.
Intertwined with the life of me.
Denise Camille.
Greetings, y'all. Greetings, salutations. How are we? I noticed my throat acting a little weird today, so just don't mind me. I'm gonna just have to quench my thirst with the freshest distilled water. Mountain water, y'all. Mountain. If y'all know, find y'all water spots. Water is still free in 2024. Water is still free. I usually rack up to get my water in the mountains. I go about every 3 months to get about, almost 100 gallons. And me and the family, we good, right? Get you some water in your system. All right, how y'all doing? Y'all hear another episode of Dilate to Dialogue with the one and only Denise Camille. We here. I'm doing something different with my timeline, and it seems like it might actually be working. Let's hope, and it works, right? Hope is an imagination, so let's put forth effort and make it happen, right? Y'all gonna have to excuse the throat. I'm gonna need the throat for podcast purposes only. Stop playing with me. Okay, so how y'all doing today? Again, Dilate to Dialogue, another episode. I am Denise Camille, the urban love therapist, relationship and self coach, the author, the naturalista, the juicer, which y'all gonna see me posting more often about my juicing lines called Keen Clean, mentally detoxing life. My natural hair care line, and skincare line, Denise Camille. Y'all check me out, support. Normally I always promote my most recent baby, Urban Life for Love, 5 Languages We Speak. I'm gonna read the back. So the book dives into addressing therapy at a convenient environment that promotes and produces optimal change. For those that are looking for optimal change, cop the book, right? Check me on my website, denise-camille.com, DENICE-CAMILLE. What the? Somebody don't want me to talk today. We gonna get it out. All right? We gonna get it out. I'm grateful. Are y'all grateful today to be alive? To be in the land of the living? To see change happen each and every day? Change starts with you. Most times, once you change from the inner, the outer gonna change. Not most times, every time, right? I might chug this whole 40 ounces before the show is over. And that's only a 20-minute show. Either way. All right, let's get into this topic today. So I'm looking at my topics that I wanted to talk about. So today, I did a quick TikTok on this years ago. And it talks about, the topic is, a man's imagination is equatable to the fantasy of a woman's mind, right? A man's imagination is equatable to the fantasy of a woman's mind. And I'll be like, no, it's not. Again, I'm an urban love therapist. I've done couples counseling for over 8 years. Spiritual counseling, I should say. I'm a spiritual practitioner. Where I get to the root, I'm here for healing of the human race. Healing is still humane, right? And the imagination of the man's mind, it's very intriguingly funny. Well, it's not funny, it's comical. Because, let's get into these definitions first before I go in, because I was about to dive right in with y'all. Y'all know I try to play no games. I try. I don't play no games. Okay. So let's define, I was going to say define a man, yet I don't think we got to go there. I think we got to go there. Okay. An adult male human being. That's a man, right? Okay. So let's go, an adult male human being. Let's go to imagination. And another word that comes up with me for imagination, the definition real quick says, the faculty or action of forming new ideas or images or concepts of external objects not present to the senses. Oh. Okay, read one more time. The faculty or action of forming new ideas or images or concepts of external objects not present to the senses. Imagination, right? So basically, it's not reality, right? We can go that way. The imagination, right? And let's go to we can define a female too. Let's define a female, but that's okay, whatever, okay. Female, of or denoting the sex that can bear offspring or produce eggs, distinguished. Let me do women, because I'm like, why is a female given such a longer definition than a male to a female? A woman, an adult female human being. Listen, that's a woman. An adult female human being. I mean, if you want to break down the word female, I guess we can go there for shits and giggles. Female, of or denoting the sex that can bear offspring or produce eggs, disguised biologically by the production of gametes, which is the ova that can be fertilized by male gametes. Okay, we're not gonna go there either. Okay. Fantasy. Let's define fantasy now. Hopefully y'all still with me. This throat itch. The faculty or activity of imagining things, especially things that are impossible or improbable. I think that just sums up the whole topic for today. Oh God, a man's imagination is equatable to a female's fantasy. I forgot the word. My mind, you saw my mind just went blank. I'm like, I'm not a robot. I'm not AI. This is me. This is not my clone. A female's fantasy, right? So, sadly, and I always say, I used to use Denzel as my example. When a female meets a male, or we see a man, right? Let's say you see him on the street. Man, okay, I'm gonna talk from my perspective first. I'm a female, then I'm gonna go to the male's perspective. I'm not a male. I've conversed with many men. No, okay. When we see a man, 9 times out of 10, we already know either you like us, you're intrigued, you're not. We know. We can sense it. Our intuition never really turns off. It's just on automatic mode, right? We can see your potential 10 years down the line. We can see it just by looking at you up front. We see the potential like, oh, he could be great. Yeah, what do you mean? Why not? I can see it. You're going to be a leader. You're going to have your own acres. You're going to be building nations, right? We can see it. Hold that thought. Now, a male's perspective, when he sees a woman instantly, he's looking at the outer. Because we're looking at the inner. We're looking at the long term. We're looking at the investment. We're looking at the prosperity of purpose, right? The male, when he sees a woman, he's looking at, she can take care of me. She reminds me of things that I may need. I can see her for who she is. Let me not even go that far, because y'all don't even go that far when y'all think about women when y'all see them. Y'all thinking about, man, that'd be something great to have in bed, because look at her shape. I can do a lot of things with that, right? And honestly, that just broke down fantasy and imagination, right? Because a man is imagining that the things he can do to her and for her in the bedroom or sexually, or it's usually physically, right? In that barbaric mindset, like, ooh, ooh, ooh. And yet on the female side of it, her fantasy island thought process is, We're going to be building nations together. He's going to be the leader. I'm going to be willing to, submit my logic to his emotion because I can see that in his mind, he's got a plan. He's strategizing. I can see his strategy 10 years from now, right? Let's say those two connect. What ends up happening? All I can say is expectations from either party is going to lead to what? Limitations, y'all. Expectations only lead to limitations. You're expecting another human being to do what you're thinking and hoping. And again, hope is another fantasy word. We hope for things to, let's say, I hope to, start and finish my PhD. If you replace the word hope with fantasy, I'm fantasizing to start and finish my PhD. Why? Because it's not my reality. I could just say it out loud. Yeah, do I want to? No, I don't want to do my PhD again. I don't want to. That's not something that's for me. That's not in my purpose. That's not in my alignment. Yet, hope and the fantasy from a woman, we can see things that we would desire. And most of us women, we will go out and get it ourselves. Why? Because we know we're human first. Okay, pause for that chorus. Let's get to imagination of a man, right? We didn't even take a break yet. The imagination of a man, it's more of, why do I want to do these things when my life is la-da-da-da-da-da-da. Oh, here's a woman. Oh, she can, okay. I'm imagining her being my mate, being my complementarian, with ha ha ha, he in the park, where, he's putting forth effort to his imagination to create a place where he can feel he can be dominant. He can be providing for someone else. He can be put in a position to have to prove his value based on what he's doing for someone else. So he's imagining a quality of living based on if someone else says yes to his foolishness. And I say foolishness because, again, as human beings, we're all individuals. We choose to come together for the greater good of the life, right? We choose that. Yet, at the end of the day, it's all based on somebody else's, you're hoping that they're going to do what you ask of them to do, right? So, we're going to take a quick break because we're going to get back in there for the second half. Days of my lives, right? Y'all listen to the Dilate to Dialogue with the one and only Denise Camille. With today's topic, a man's imagination is equatable to a female's fantasy. All right, y'all. See y'all in the second half. Hey, y'all. Okay. Welcome back. Second half. Hopefully y'all have had some time to quick digest what that first half was talking about. And please all get up. I encourage, you hear that little Trinity accent. I encourage, I encourage you to, ask questions, leave comments, reach out to me in my email, call me up, send me a text. I'm a human being. I'm a human. So the second half is a man's imagination is equatable. There goes my throat again. A man's imagination is equatable to a female's fantasy, right? A woman's fantasy. Excuse me. Yeah, okay. So the one word that comes to me on both sides, male and female, would be perspective. Perspective. What makes this perspective different? Having to identify perspective. Why is it that a man's imagination is equatable to the fantasy of a female? And, having to look at what makes it that perspective. However, let me say this. Most men, their mindset is pretty simple. It's A to B, B to C, C to D. That's it. They take their breaks. I've noticed, especially as being a parent, men take their breaks. Fathers take their breaks. They'll tap out at any given moment. All the while, the mom is like, running around with the kids and trying to make sure everything is good and nurture and da-da-da-da. And they're like, She got it. I'm going to just take a break. You know, what it taught me was, again, I know how to transmute a negative energy into positive. Instead of getting upset and be like, why the hell are you outside taking another break? And the kids in here, clearly, you could be, tap me out. Let me, you go in type. It taught me to realize, take time for you first, right? Yet the imagination of a man's mind is almost like, let me tap out to get to my imagination where I want to be in a place of peace or comfort or, I don't know, chasing butterflies. I don't even know. Yet it's a place of simplicity, right? And, some women, we're challenging, yet we're pretty simple at the same time. It's just, once we focus on what we need to focus on, it's pretty A to B, B to C, C to D. We all take our time to get to those places, and we all find our avenues in different ways. So it's having to assess that perspective and that perception of what life would be like, and why we can't make it reality. Why can't we draw out what we need, figure out how it's going to get there, and being a part of our imagination, because it's no longer imagination, it's reality. So the man's imagination compared to the female's fantasy, it really is the same, because they're both on a hope and a prayer, right? They're both wanting something to happen for them based on the concept of someone else's choices. I'm like, does that make sense? Does that make sense to y'all? Are y'all following what I'm saying to you right now? That almost sounds like insanity. The man's imagination is equatable to the female's fantasy. That mindset, some females have that concept of that princess. Somebody's going to save me. Rapunzel. They're going to tell me to let down my long hair and, and just go with the flow of life because that's the way I need it to go. Yet it's still in a place of having to tap back into reality and create that imagination within yourself, and everything will align for you, right? If it's for you, it will not pass you by. I've heard that 1,000 times, and I believe it because it has happened. What's for you will not pass you by. It'll come in divine time, right? Being able to assess that imagination, especially for a man, recognizing that their imaginations can take them so far, and that's where their frustration comes into play, where they're like, no, you were supposed to do this, and I was supposed to do that for you, and you were supposed to do this. And to me, that's another buzzword, because supposed to is almost just in the same category as expectation. No one is supposed to do nothing. Everything is a choice. Was the bank robber supposed to rob the bank, or was he just supposed to just get another way to make income? You hear what I'm saying? Like, nothing is supposed to happen in a certain way. There's no coincidences, yet everything happens the way it's divinely guided to, right? We can't control anything in this realm. The spirit realm is way more real, y'all. Y'all know that. I keep saying that. Yet it's having to identify that fantasy life from a female's perspective is having those thoughts of living this cartoon life of not having to really do much, yet gain much. Right. So again, can we all step out of these bubbles and step into reality and realize things can be accomplished without scamming and jamming, right? Not counting those individuals, because again, karma got their number. Having to figure out what that man's imagination really can do for themselves when they put forth the effort to create it. And I say that meaning, let's say a man imagines he feels like he wants to get married at a certain age. He hasn't met anybody yet. He's not stable. He's not emotionally intelligent. And he has a few hiccups. He has to figure out what his inner child wounds. Yet he wants a wife. He wants a family. He wants all these things. Sometimes we find ourselves dabbling into a realm that doesn't exist because we don't want to deal with the present, which is the gift. And I say that because, of course, we can all have that things we desire, yet we're required to do the work first. We're required to gain some emotional intelligence, learning how to communicate how we feel, knowing that it doesn't have to be validated by somebody else. We're required, that sounds like it's a hard word right now, required. We're required to do the shadow work from our inner childhood wounds. You know, assess what triggers us, how we're going to address it, and we're required to find stability in our lives. You know, having multiple avenues of revenue is always a great way to go. We're required to be sane and in reality and not just desiring a future that doesn't exist. Because the imagination or the fantasy is somehow working, but it's not in our favor. Yeah, it's not. Why? Because we haven't done the work. Male or female, perspective is everything. Yeah, do the work. Align yourself. Get your exercise in mentally. Get your exercise in emotionally. Get your exercises in physically. And spiritually connect with your higher power on a balanced basis. Balance spirituality and practicality. Getting in those perspectives and realizing the imagination that I need to put forth effort into is to making it goals, to make it reality. So that way I can see and do what I need to do for myself, right? All right, y'all. Y'all don't forget to check out my book, Urban Life with Love, 5 Languages We Speak, the comfort community therapy. And when I say community therapy, you need unity to commune, right? And it helps where you can identify what you're needing for yourself by yourself first, instead of using other people as crutches to kind of get you a one-up. Because that one-up will chip away and you have one leg down, right? So I encourage you, do the work. Urban Life with Love. Y'all check it out. 5 Languages We Speak by me. Check out my website. I still have the self-awareness deck. It's a daily deck. Y'all check it out. Can't say that? Self-awareness. I was looking at one of the cards, right? And it was just saying to gravitate to gratitude. You know, that's going to be another topic yet. Gravitate to gratitude, being grateful for reality, recognizing that your imagination isn't always the place that can get you to that healing spot that you're needing, right? And nobody's healed until we do the work. It's a great place to be once you're able to love you the way you need to be loved. Your perspective, your perception, and understanding everyone's perspective isn't the same as you. Everybody doesn't think like you. And then there's some that can understand how you think, yet they still think a different way. They can help you and guide you to get to a different place, right? All right, y'all. It's been fun. It's been real. I encourage growth. Personal growth is a big thing for me. Because without that, what else you doing in this world? Work. No. Your real labor is your life, right? It's figuring out you, for you. All right, y'all. It's been real. I give thanks. This has been another episode of Dialate to Dialogue with the one and only Denise Camille. All right, y'all. I appreciate you. Peace.